I know a lot of people who have gotten this result on their exam or this result, but this video is going to help you improve your score so that your result looks something like this. In this video, we're going to go over the language used on your exam. We're going to go over the new PowerPoint 2019 skills that you need to know and tons of other skills you're going to have to master so that you can pass your exam with confidence. So for project 1, our friend Trevor was recently hired as a college professor and he needs us to edit parts of this presentation, this basket weaving 101 presentation, for his classes next week. For our first task, we're going to go to the slide master view and then we're going to duplicate the title only layout, and then we're going to name the new slide layout picture and text, and then we're going to insert a picture placeholder on the left and a text placeholder to the right. So yeah, this basically is a different view within PowerPoint. It's sort of a backstage view that quickly allows you to create different layouts and be a little bit more creative with your presentation. So I'll show you what that looks like. So we're going to click on the View tab. So don't get confused just because it says Slideshow. It's not the Slideshow tab, it's the View tab. And then we're going to click on Slide Master. Now from here, if you were asked to change the theme color or the theme of the presentation, you would scroll up to the actual Slide Master slide, which is this first one here. It always takes you to the title slide, but what you want to do if you're making changes to the Slide Master is click on slide 1, that's the actual slide master, and then you can make those changes like change the color, font, or effects, or maybe even the theme. But for this task, we're going to try to locate the title only layout. So we'll try to look for a slide here that has title only, and it's this one. So it says title only layout used by no slides, because we haven't used that kind of layout yet in our actual presentation. So we're going to click on that one, and then you can duplicate slides by right-clicking on them, and then duplicate layout. So the duplicate one is placed right under that one, and now from here we can make our customizations or changes that the task is asking us to. So we're going to name the new slide layout picture and text. So I'm going to right click on that new one, not the original. Make sure you got the duplicate, and then we're going to rename this layout picture and text. And then remember on your exam, whatever is in between the quotation marks, sometimes they'll have it underlined. Whatever is underlined and within the quotation marks, that's what you put. Don't bother putting this period, okay, if it comes outside of the quotation marks. So picture and text is just fine. They didn't have capital letters, so don't make sure capitalization is correct as well. And then we'll just click rename. So we've done our first part of our task. Now we're going to insert a picture placeholder on the left. So it doesn't seem to matter where, just somewhere on the left of this duplicate title slide. So to do that, we go insert placeholder. So this is where you can kind of create your own layouts, get a little bit more creative with your presentations. And then let's do, they want a picture placeholder first on the left. So that'll be for any pictures. Doesn't matter positioning exactly, just as long as I'm on the left and it's the left of the text placeholder, which we're going to put in now too. So to get back, we have to go to the Slide Master tab and then also put in a different placeholder, the text one. So we have a picture placeholder on the left, a text placeholder on the right, and that's what it would look like. The exact positioning doesn't really matter as long as the picture one is on the left, text one on the right. Now here's the most important part of this task. Don't forget to do this. We are not in our original slides, so just because I'm done task 1 does not mean I can go on to task 2 until we close the Slide Master view. So really important. You don't want to get stuck on your exam kind of fiddling around if they say, because the next one will say something like go to slide 2, and then you'll go here. This is in the Slide Master view. This is not the real slide 2. This is our title Slide Master. So it's a different thing completely. Go back to view or close the master view from the Slide Master tab to get back to our normal view. So I'll click there. Now we're back to our original presentation. So remember to do that if you are asked to go into the Slide Master view on your exam. For our second task, we're going to configure the printing options to print 5 copies of the notes pages for all slides. And then we're going to take all copies of page 1 and make sure they print before all copies of page 2. So there's a little bit of a language thing there, and I'll show you what I mean when we get to the printing options. So to get to the printing options in a PowerPoint file, we're going to click File tab. So on the very left here, click File, go to our printing options. So click on that, and there's 2 things they want. So print 5 copies of the note pages for all. Okay, so the copies are here. So we want notes pages. We want 5 copies. So there's actually 3 parts to this. Notes pages, 5 copies, and all copies of the page 1 should print before copies of page 2. This is great if you have maybe like activities on page 1, or if you're handing this out as notes. This is awesome because maybe you could hand out the first page right away and then hand out maybe page 2 later on in your presentation. So to do that, it doesn't really point to where you need to go to do that, but if you look at what collated is, what happens is the default is usually collated, and it would print off slides 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3. But the uncollated option makes sure that the page 1 is printed first, all copies, and then all copies of page 2 are printed, and then all copies of page 3 are printed, which is great for handouts. So it's that uncollated. It doesn't say that in the task, but that's sort of testing your ability to know sort of some of the printing options that exist within PowerPoint. So it'll say something like this. It doesn't specifically tell you what to do. It just kind of hints at it here, and then you can put it together. Oh, it's the uncollated, which means all copies of page 1 would print first. For task 3, we're going to navigate our way to the end of the presentation, and then we're going to insert a slide from a different presentation. So that's a really important task for your exam. And I'm going to go to the last slide in this presentation, and then from here I can click on the Home tab and click the New Slide drop arrow. And then you have to distinguish whether you want a slide from an outline, which is a Word document, which we'll do later, and then a slide from a different presentation. So that's what reuse slides means. It means using a slide from a different presentation. So we'll click on that option. For your exam, this will automatically pop up, just like this did. And then sometimes if they have a longer presentation, maybe your presentation has 12 slides in it and you have to choose content, you'll click choose content and then just choose the slide you want. But for our practices, I just chose a file with 1 slide just to make it easier on us. So I'll just choose that slide. That's the one we need. And you can see it was inserted at the end of our presentation. Now I can press exit, and we've completed our task. For task 4, we're going to add a picture style and a picture artistic effect to the 3 images on this slide. So the way you can do that, and just a warning for this type of task on your exam, this can be a bit of a time waster if you're not sure about picture styles or where this specific artistic effect is. So I'm going to show you how you can locate them. But first we have to select all 3 pictures. So I'm going to select the first one, and then I'm going to hold down Control. You can also do this with the Shift key, but I like to use the Control key to select multiple objects. So I'm holding down my Control key while I select all of these, and now I've got all 3 of them selected at the same time. Now we can start adding our picture styles, which is in the Picture Format tab, and then you can open up this style gallery because most likely the one you need won't be staring right at you. It'll be inside of the gallery somewhere. So this is a good idea to study, sort of just run your mouse over a few of these options and just kind of get to know where some of these are. The perspective and bevel ones seem to be on the 2nd row. And if I look at the description, it says bevel perspective left. So it's like a picture tilting to the left. There's the bevel perspective, but it also has a white border. So that means it's something along here, and that gives us a little bit of a clue to where things are in this gallery. But it's not a bad idea to kind of just take a picture in a presentation you already have and just run over some of the picture styles so you don't waste time in your exam trying to find this exact one. But here's the one we need, bevel perspective left and with a white border. So we'll choose that one. Now when it comes to adding an artistic effect to 3 images, we have to do this individually. I don't know why PowerPoint doesn't have the option to add artistic effects to multiple images at the same time, but that's okay because it allows us to explore where some of these options are. So I'll click on the first picture on the left and then go to the Picture Format tab here, click on that. Over on the left here in the ribbon, I'll choose Artistic Effects. And again, just like the gallery, the Styles gallery, it's not a bad idea to kind of take a picture and just kind of explore where some of these are. Some popular ones are Plastic Wrap here. Another one is Photocopy Effect. But the one we want is right here in the middle, Paintbrush. And we're going to add that one. So not a bad idea to kind of explore that one, that Artistic Effects options. And we'll add the Paintbrush here to this image, and then we'll do it again for this last image. So artistic effects, paintbrush is what we want. You might want to explore what some of those are and where they're located within sort of this gallery here. For the 5th task, we're going to insert a video on the bottom right corner of the slide. The exact positioning doesn't really matter, but to do that, you're going to go to the Insert tab, and then we'll click on the video drop arrow here. And on your exam, you're going to choose Video on My PC. Now that should automatically it'll pop the video up on your screen from the Documents folder, so you don't have to worry about going to find it through a confusing file path. It'll just pop up automatically, and then you just choose the, make sure you've got the right video that we want, and this is it. So we're gonna double click on that, and you should see the video pop up. If it doesn't go to the bottom right and it's a little big, maybe I'll resize it, although technically it doesn't ask us to do that, but if it says bottom right, I'm assuming it should be a little smaller than the whole screen. Doesn't matter exactly where it is, and that's how you would insert a video on your exam. For the last task in this project, we're going to go to slide 3, and then we're going to add a down animation path to the book's icon. So we're going to click here, and then we're going to add a animation to it. This is a motion animation, so we need to open this animation gallery and go find it. Now, I would do this just to be safe. You might find some default motion paths here, but go to more motion paths and then look for the down one. So down should be sort of in the lines or curves, and we see it right here. So I'll click it once and press OK, and it doesn't tell us to adjust it or make the stop point really long, so I'm just going to leave it as is, and that's how you complete a task like task 6. In this second project, me and my son Avery want to start our own construction company, but we're going to need your help to add some final touches to this presentation so we can pitch the idea to my partner and Avery's mom, Alana. For task 1, we're going to create a section called Office Information that includes slides 3 and 4. So if you want to add sections to your presentation, you can start off where the section will begin. So just before slide 3, I'm going to put a red horizontal line there by clicking on it with my mouse, and then I'm going to right click on that and then click Add Section. From here you can name the section, so we're going to type in Office Information, and then once I've done that, just make sure it's spelled correctly with the right capital letters, so capital O, lowercase I, and then rename. And because there was already a section after this, it will only include slides 3 and 4. So for task 2, we're going to use something that's new to PowerPoint 2019, and we're going to use the Draw tab to highlight the text, build with a yellow 6mm highlighter. But I don't have the tab that we need that'll be present on your exam. So the way I can do that is to get that tab that's not currently present, I'm going to go anywhere on the ribbon and just right click, and then I'm going to click Customize the ribbon. So if yours has this, great. If yours doesn't, you're going to have to do what I'm going to do right now and just right click anywhere on the ribbon, customize the ribbon, and then you can see the draw option is here. So I'll click on that and then press OK. And then from there we can complete task 2. Now that we have this draw tab, when you click on it, it should open this drawing tools menu, and we've got the highlighter color that we want, but we have to check that the weight is correct. So we'll click this drop arrow. It's right in the middle. It says 6 mm, which is great, and then we can just start drawing from there. So with your mouse, once you select that, I don't know how the exam algorithm will know that you highlighted this properly, but I think I did a okay job here highlighting the build text. And that's how you complete a task like task 2, but keep in mind on your exam you won't have to add the draw tab, it'll be there for you. Oh, and I should also mention, before you move on to your next task, when you've used the highlighter, remember to press the escape key on your keyboard so that you don't start drawing all over the place like this. So remember to press escape, and then when you move your mouse, it'll just go back to what it did before we added the highlighter in there. For task 3, we're going to go to slide 4, and then under the title, we're going to insert a vertical bending process SmartArt graphic, and then start labeling it with the first shape being hard work and the last one being family, and then we're going to delete any remaining shapes. So here's how you would do that. You would click somewhere in here, and then insert, go to the Insert tab, and then click SmartArt. So we're going to start a brand new SmartArt. Now, don't get this confused with Convert SmartArt from a bullet list. If you have that option is in the Home tab, but this one's asking us to create a completely new SmartArt diagram, so we're going to have to do that from scratch. So within this SmartArt graphic menu, it says we want one that's a process. So some of these can be hard to find, but look for the last word before you see SmartArt graphic. It usually tells you like a list, process, or a cycle. This is a process, so we want a vertical bending one. So then if we look down the list, we're going to find the vertical bending one right here. So we'll choose that one and we'll press OK. And then our shape is right here. So we can just move it to right here. And then notice how there's probably too many. We only need 4. So I'm just going to preemptively just start deleting, or press backspace and delete some of these. We only need 4 shapes. Okay, so now we have 4 shapes there. And then we can start entering our text, which is hard work, dedication, passion, and last one is family. So then we just kind of deleted the remaining shapes beforehand, but you can do that after as well. Once I press escape here, and then we've completed task 3. So this is something new to PowerPoint 2019. We're going to add a 3D model from the online selections under the planning and landscaping projects, and we're going to choose the one that looks like a gazebo and place it on this slide. So to do that, just like inserting a picture online, you'd go to the Insert tab, and then from here we're going to choose 3D models. We're going to choose the stock ones, and then look for the group Plan and Landscaping Project. So we see the Plan and Landscaping Project here. We'll click on that, and then we'll use the gazebo example, and then we'll click Insert. Now once we've got our shape here, we'll just move it, make sure it's on the just to the right of the thank you, and that's it. Now we're going to apply the swing animation to the gazebo, and this is a 3D object unique animation. So when we click on the object and then go to the Animations tab, you'll notice that the yellow ones, those are unique to 3D objects, and we have the swing one, and this is what that would look like. For task 6, we're going to apply the wipe transition from the left to all of our slides. So it doesn't matter which slide you're on. I'm on the last one, but we'll add a transition to this one, and then we'll just apply it to all. So those two things, we're going to apply the wipe transition and then change the effect option so that comes in from the left. So by clicking the effect options drop arrow, we're going to say from left, and then we're also going to apply to all. So that's going to apply that same transition and the effect option that we just added and apply it to all of our slides. And that's how you complete step 6. For the last task in this project, we're going to go to the file properties and we're going to add construction as a subject. So this really helps if you have similar files that you're working with, and it helps you determine where they're located if you forget what the file name is. So it's great to add a few more file properties if you can when you're saving something in PowerPoint if you have similar projects that you're working on. So to do that, you'd go to the File tab, and then from here click on the Info tab, and then you're not going to see subject right away like a few of these properties, so what we have to do is click on the Show All Properties and then look for the subject, which is right here, and then type in construction. And then be sure on your test that you don't put a space. Sometimes they'll mark that wrong. If you do, just click outside of that box once you've typed in what the subject is, and that's how you would complete that type of task. For project 3 and task 1, we're going to add a new slide in between slides 2 and 3 from the Inclusive Practices Word document. So in, I believe it was project 1, we added a slide from a different PowerPoint. Now we're going to add a slide from a Microsoft Word document. So what you would do is put your marker in between slides 2 and 3, and then click on the Home tab, click the New Slides drop arrow, and then instead of saying Reuse Slides, like we did in a previous step, we'll just say Slides from Outline. And then on your exam, it'll go right to the document that you need, so no worries there. And we'll click on the Inclusive Practices Word document. And then you should see this slide pop up. Now we're going to add a alt text description to the image, and alt text descriptions are great because if someone had visual challenges, they would be able to have a program read what is happening in a picture or table or diagram. So that's great, and that's something you can add to pictures by clicking on the picture, and then we're going to right click, and then from here click the Edit Alt Text, and on your exam you see there's a description that was generated, but it's not the one we need. I actually got pretty close to our description, but what I would suggest is go to the instructions and just copy and paste the description. If you have something long like this, it'll save you a little bit of time. So just highlight it, right click, copy, click in the description box, and then right click again to paste it. So again, remember that the text that you need is in between the quotation marks. Don't put anything outside of the quotation marks like this period here. And once we have our alt text description about this picture, we can exit, and that's how you complete a task like task 2. For task 3, we're going to add a new row to the bottom of this table, and then we're going to enter the text semester 4 in the leftmost column. So we're going to kind of continue this pattern here and add semester 4. So the way you do that in a table is to click in the last row, and then go to the table layout tab, and then just click insert below, and that's how you'd insert a row below. If you had to insert a column, you would do that here, left or right. But we're going to just enter the text semester 4, and then we've completed task 3. So task 4 is a little bit challenging because it's all about how to copy and paste data from a table to a chart, but you'd have to know how to do that in PowerPoint, and you have to know in this type of question, you have to create the chart first. I think that's the easiest way to do this. If you have another way of doing this, let me know in the comments, but this is the quickest way I would complete a task like this one. So I would start by inserting the chart first. So click on the chart icon in the content placeholder, and then we're going to choose it wants a 3D clustered column, which is right here. So I'll press OK. And then we sort of have to copy the information over to this Excel sheet here. I'm going to get rid of category 4, that row, completely because we don't need it. Now in this one, I'm going to delete the information here first. So just highlight it, delete, and then you see that the information kind of goes away. And then I'm going to copy the information from the OA medical to the 102 number by highlighting it, right-clicking, copy, and then in here, just be careful when you go to paste it, use this option. So match destination formatting. So it's just the numbers, not the formatting from the table. That can be a little bit tricky. And then also copy the from semester 1 to semester 3 cells in there too. So I'll copy those over. First I'm going to delete category 1, 2, 3, and then just start fresh here in cell A2. And again, use the match destination because you don't want that coming up blue. I don't know why, that would just throw me off. So semester 1, 2, and 3, we have all of this information here. Now before we move on to the next project, we've forgotten to do one thing, and this is something very small, but something you could lose marks on. Do you see what I've forgotten in the chart? So when you look at the chart, what looks odd about it right now? Well, it's got extra space, and that's because in the edit data space, I didn't close up or just kind of allow the selection area to just go over the data. It actually has this blank line right here. So the way you can fix that is just by clicking this blue area and just making sure it only covers the data that you absolutely need. So if I left it like that, I would probably get mostly part marks, but I wouldn't get 100% if I left it like that. Okay, so you've got to make sure that this blue area only covers the data that you're actually using, and that's something to look out for on a task like task 4. For project 4, the task is going to ask us to go to slide 2, and then from there we're going to insert a footer that displays the slide number, and it's going to have a link in the footer, and then we're going to apply that footer to every slide except the title slide. So a footer that displays the slide number and the words ontariotraining.net to every slide except the title slide. So we'll click on slide 2, and then we'll go to the insert tab, and then I'm going to go to the header and footer icon and click on that, and this header and footer box is going to pop up. It wants the slide number, but also in the footer I'm just going to copy this, and I'm only going to copy what's in between the quotation marks, so remember that for your exam, only what's in between the quotation marks, and then paste it. And then I'm going to say don't show on title slide, but I will apply it to all, keeping in mind it won't appear on the title slide. So apply to all, and that's how you complete task 1. For task 2, we're going to go to this slide, and now we're going to format the bullet list as 2 columns instead of just 1. So we'll highlight the text box, and then we're going to, in the Home tab, there's an area right here, a little drop arrow that can allow us to remove columns or add them, and we're just going to change this from 1 column to 2 columns. So for task 3, I'm excited to share this task with you because this is unique to PowerPoint 2019, and it's something that looks really cool. And if you've ever used the program Prezi, which is like PowerPoint, but it's like very animated, it will seem a little bit similar to that. So let me show you what that looks like. So on task 3, we have to basically create a zoom animation towards these different sections in our presentation, and you can do that by clicking on the overview slide here, and then we're going to go to the Insert tab. And then from there we want to choose the zoom option, so zoom drop arrow, and it says it wants a section zoom, So we're going to click that. Now we don't have to do the introduction because that's the section that we're currently in, but we want to show off sections 2, 3, and 4. So we're going to choose all 3 at the same time, and then press Insert, and then just make sure they're not stacked on each other. So click outside of them, and then just like a shape, you would just kind of move these around. The exact positioning doesn't really matter as long as they're not stacked on top of each other and they sort of have their own room to breathe. So and I try to evenly space this so it looks nice and neat, but it's not necessary for your exam to do that, just as long as they're, again, not stacked on top of each other. And if you ever want to see what that looks like, it would look something like this. And then from here, we can kind of zoom into that section. So if you had a very long presentation, you could just quickly click on the section here, and it would zoom right to that section. On this slide, we're going to change the 3D objects so that the view is a little bit different. So that's something unique to 3D objects in PowerPoint. And the first thing you're going to do is click on the 3D object itself here. And then in the 3D model tab that pops up once you click on the object, from the 3D model views gallery, you can open that up and just kind of see a bunch of different positions. You can kind of see a preview if you just hover your mouse over top. But we're looking for the top version, which is right here. And we'll click on that, and that's how you would change a 3D model view. So for Project 5, Task 1, we're going to go to the title slide, and then we're going to insert a hyperlink on this text here, and then we're going to link it to this website. So we're going to highlight the text in the subtitle here, and you can just click on the text box. That works too. And there's a few ways you can get to hyperlink, but I like to go to the Insert tab, and then from here, we're going to choose the link, or sorry, just click on the icon, probably easier, and then this insert hyperlink dialog box will come up. So the address is the one here, and to save time, I'm not going to type that out obviously, and I suggest you do this for your test. Learn to copy and paste from the instructions. So just do exactly what I did, just copy and paste from the instructions. It doesn't tell us to do a screen tip, so that's okay too. It just tells us to link that text to the web address or web page, sorry, existing file or web page, and the web page is right here. Then you just click OK, and just be mindful if you're ever creating a presentation like this. We're sort of in a preview of the presentation. We're not actually in the presentation. So if you insert a hyperlink, it's not going to work from here. But what would happen is if you're showing off your presentation, you would go to the current slide and then click here, and then the hyperlink would work. But when you're in this sort of preview mode, you're sort of in edit mode, so it wouldn't work from here, but you'd have to do a present from beginning or the current slide, and then when you actually begin your presentation, the hyperlink will work from that view. So for task 2, and this is a really good task for your exam, you're going to have to rearrange pictures at some point, so bringing them back or bringing them forward, and you'll have to do that to multiple pictures on a slide, just like in this example. So it says bring the picture or the movie poster 355 poster to the front. So I think that is in the front actually, so we'll just make sure that that's in the front. So we'll go to the picture format tab and then make sure it's at the very front. So when you want to do that, if you want to save some time, go bring forward and then just bring to the front, just to ensure that it is. The King of Staten Island is just behind that one. So that would be, when we click on that picture, just bring it forward. So that's the difference between bring it forward, bring it to the front. We just move it one object forward, and then the Crude's movie poster is in the back. So you might have to rearrange your pictures like that. Just click on the picture and then go to the picture format tab, and then you can just kind of send it backwards or bring it forward or bring it to the very front or the very back. For task 3, we'll hide the last slide in this presentation. So maybe we want to hold on to that slide, but we just don't want it for this current presentation. You can just hide it, and then it won't delete it. It'll stay there, but just for the purposes of our presentation, it'll hide. So click on that slide and then right click on it and then just click hide slide. And if you ever want to unhide it, you just do the same thing and then click hide slide again to unhide. So task 4 has its own unique challenge, and that is, remember when in the previous task where we inserted a fresh SmartArt on our slide? Well, sometimes people get that confused with this type of task. This is different. This is not inserting SmartArt over top of these bullet points. This is converting these bullet points into SmartArt. So it's different, and it's from the Home tab. See this? There's Convert to SmartArt. That's what we really want. What you don't want to do is click Insert and then put SmartArt on top of that, which I see a lot of people do. And that's a huge mistake to make when it wants us to convert the already existing list into SmartArt. So we want to convert, not insert SmartArt. So make sure you're using the icon convert to SmartArt in the Home tab. So I'm going to make sure this is all selected. I'm going to convert it to SmartArt. I'm going to say more SmartArt graphics just because I just want to make sure that I'm choosing the right type of SmartArt. And the last word before SmartArt is list, so that tells us which gallery we need to go to. And I think it's this first one here, basic block list, and that's the one. So that's how you can tell, but there's so many options here. You might want to explore that a little bit before your exam. If you're studying for your PowerPoint exam, study the different types of SmartArt graphics. But this one was easy, it's right at the beginning. So we'll press OK, and notice that now the words that we initially had there are just converted to SmartArt, so we've done that correctly. For our last task in this project, we're going to make sure that we set the transition duration to 3 seconds for all slides. So again, just like the transition effect, we'll go to the transition tab, and then the duration is here, so we're going to increase the duration from 2 seconds to 3 seconds, and then just don't forget to click apply to all. So I hope that was helpful. Good luck on your exam, and if you want some more PowerPoint training, I've got these videos right here that might help you out. Good luck again, and we'll see you next time.